Good afternoon, everyone. Goa lends itself to endearing cliches. Sun in the sand, football and fenny. But Goa is much more than these endearing cliches. You have a gorgeous monsoon. You often talk about football, but then Dilip Sardesai, one of India's former greats in cricket, is originally from Goa. I mean, he played for Mumbai, he played for India, but he's originally from Goa. And of course, the current connector is Rajdeep's father. So Goa has many layers to it, and we'll try and unravel it probably in the next half an hour. We'll speak about Goa's multi-sport legacy. And it gives me a lot of pleasure to invite on stage Mr. Mervyn Fernandes. Please come on the stage, sir. Olympian, member of the 1980 Moscow Games gold medal winning hockey team, led by Mr. V. Bhaskaran. Anura Prabhudesai, badminton star, who shows that Goa can do much more than football. And in Goa, can the sea be far behind? So, calling on stage, Dayne Coelho, windsurfer, who's won the gold 14 times at the national games. Dayne. Thank you everyone for being here, finding time. So, the myth about Goa, and it's also historically right, is that it's a football crazy state and football rules. And of course, we had a panel discussion earlier whether the magic of football has waned in Goa over the last decade. Mr. Fernandis, your thoughts? I mean, Goa vis-a-vis hockey, and how was it in your early days?
As you rightly said, Vijay, football has always taken center stage here in Goa, and hockey was less spoken about, but we had past Olympians from here. Mary D'Souza, which I remember when we talk about history, she's one of the icons of hockey for Goa. I remember her. There's Eustace D'Souza and so many others who are from Goa. But as you feel that football is the place, football is the game that is, most popular here. And I remember Joachim and myself, we did come to Goa a few years ago and said that we would try and popularize the game. In fact, we had a few exhibition matches here. So that's the way we remember Goa, that hockey is not played as much here, but football, it's the craze over here and we can't do much about it.
I mean, does the monsoons play spoil sport? 4 months of rain, does it affect outdoor sport? Football you can play in the rain, but...
Yeah, it does, but now we have the AstroTurf, and I understand that Goa's got the AstroTurf recently, and they had the sub-juniors and junior nationals over there. We saw the youngsters and we were really happy about it, that hockey was catching up and it's sort of getting popular over here. After that, I don't know what the follow-up is because we are in Bombay. We did offer that in case there is any help required, we would be here to assist the Hockey Federation with every possible way that we need in the state.
Anura, you have bucked the trend, picking up badminton in Goa. Was there ever a temptation to kind of relocate to Bangalore or Hyderabad, considering they are the powerhouse of badminton? You have Gopi Chand in Hyderabad, Prakash Padukone and Vimal in Bangalore. Was there any temptation to relocate or?
I started playing badminton when I was 6 years old. I started from Goa. I'm very lucky that I got the support from my parents and my coaches at the right time in Goa. So when I was 12 years old, and I got a call from Prakash Padukone Academy, and I went there. It was my 9th standard, I guess. In Goa, the culture is studies, I feel. Like when you get in 10th standard, people like parents and even teachers in your school, they will be like, focus on your studies. But I was playing at my best in Goa. So at that time in India ranking also, I started like from early age only, I was like in top 10 in India. And getting a call from Prakash Padukone Academy, it was a big thing for me. So I decided to go into the academy. And I feel when you say Goa is known for football, uh, picking up badminton, it was something I feel I am very grateful that I picked up badminton. When I was in 5th standard, I was really good in fitness. So many, and that time, like, I didn't have anybody to look up to, like, in badminton as a career to take. Like what nowadays young kids know that okay, there is a future. Saina or Sindhu, they are doing really well, and even the sponsorship is there. Like they will get jobs from Indian Oil or corporates or railways or like we have many opportunities. Like even sponsorship is there. So during that time, when I was in 5th standard, like swimming and boxing coach, they were like, you come into our sport, like Talasha Prabhu was there in swimming. So, but I was of the opinion that if I will do something in badminton, I want to do it in badminton only. Like whatever I will do, so that when I will grow old, like I went on to become India #1 in seniors. So I think I have achieved little bit my best, I think.
Are you okay with infrastructure here and the existing infrastructure vis-a-vis badminton in Goa?
I think because of national games, badminton, I will say we have the best of the facilities in Goa of international standards. And we have held national level of tournaments also in Goa. So I think it is up to the players. And we have Khelo India Center also in Goa. Swimming, badminton, and table tennis is taken care, like till 18 years of age. Since last 2 years, I think. So I think nowadays, from 13 to 18 years, kids are getting even national level of tournament exposure. So I think what you said, the exposure part, I think it is up to government also to, they are also supporting, but they should support also in the international level of tournaments, I feel that.
Daryl, I mean, you have the sea and the waves and stuff, but is it adequate enough or do you need much more, I mean, as a windsurfer?
To be honest, I would say we need much more. Just to mention the fact that in 2018, my sister Katya and I were the first Goans to ever represent at the Asian Games. And we just recently won the National Games gold medal. So we've done all of this with the most minimal amount of foreign exposure and coaching, of which 90% has been generated through our own resources. And if we could do all of this with just the minimum, with the bare minimum, there is so much more that we could do if we get a lot more support. So just to put some things into perspective, that a huge, a little bit of contribution came from the association for the national games. I mean, given the fact that we were medal prospects and Goa being the host nation for the national games, it was a very big event for us to try and win. And we got new sets of equipment, which is something that's very, very important. I can't speak for other sports, but at least for windsurfing, the equipment plays a big role in your performance on the water. And so with the new equipment that came in after quite a few years of trying to procure it, we were able to now take part with it and put it to good use by winning the event. Yeah, so far so good, but we do need much more.
Tell me something, how does Goa stack up against places like, say, Chennai, Mahabalipuram, Kovalam, Mangalore in Karnataka, in terms of the surfing experience, in terms of the infrastructure?
I would not limit the options to just national states, but I've been around the world competing for more than a decade now, and I've been to various places, and I can strongly suggest that Goa is one of the best places that I have sailed in, not only because I am from here, but just being able to access the waters, the conditions that we have here for the sport, and basic accessibility it's just one of the best places that you can be in to train and to get your level up to international standards.
Could you say something about your sister's journey?
Yeah. events like this are platforms for athletes to, I think, speak up a bit, for them to get a bit of limelight. And for a long time, sailing has not had that because it's not as televised as other sports like football and cricket, obviously. But I think Katya over the years has managed to create a social media presence for herself that has brought a few more eyes to the sport. And not only in the discipline of windsurfing, but all other Olympic disciplines as well would benefit from the attention that that sailing is getting now.
Mervyn, your thoughts? I mean, last year Goa hosted the national games. It finished 9th in the medals tally. Has it changed the landscape at some level, the sporting infrastructure in the state?
In fact, before I came here, when they said that we're going to speak about infrastructure, there was a very interesting thing that I wanted to share with you all. In 1976, I was a junior guy and was invited by the federation to be in the camp at NIS Patiala. And I saw that NIS Patiala was having a particular surface made for hockey to be played on chat. Now, chat is a very fast surface, and I wondered why the hell would they do it on chat. They said no, because in 1976, the hockey Olympic Games were to be played on AstroTurf. That was the first time. I said, if that was supposed to be an AstroTurf, why are we practicing on chat? They said, no, the surface would be the same, fast. And then I was in the camp, and gradually as time passed by, I saw a small surface about 10 by 10 or 20 by 20 at the NIS Patiala. And what do you think we were doing? We were trying to hit and stop the ball on that surface. So when you say about infrastructure, believe me, India won the 1975 World Cup, the hockey team. They came back in 1976. They were supposed to go for the Olympics. They were training for the Olympics, and they were training on a surface that was about 10 or 20 feet by 20 feet. That's ridiculous. So today, you have so many surfaces, artificial surfaces. You have the infrastructure. And Goa, of course, now has started showing that they've got so many stadiums. It's great for Goa. And I hope people will utilize these great places to train. One good thing I see is that a lot of youngsters are willing to take up the sports because the infrastructure is getting better. And I hope they will ensure that those medal tallies in the national games that were there would improve in the next national games.
Coming to you, who were your icons growing up? And when you took up badminton, I mean, who were your icons?
I have always looked up to Saina Nehwal and Carolina Marin, and I am glad that I got the opportunity to play with her in Nagpur Senior National semi-finals, and to play, and also I got the opportunity to represent India in team event, Thomas Uber Cup, and to learn so much. I got to learn so much from her, like being in the team. And Carolina Marin also I look up to because of her grit. You know how she comes back to the court after so many injuries. I think that is commendable.
Do you think corporates can play a bigger role in Goa in terms?
I shifted when I was, I think, 14 or 15 years of age. I got the call and I shifted to Bangalore, and I started training there for, I think, I was there for around 6 years.
Okay.
Because that time, for me, players were a little bit less to compete with, because I needed the exposure to train. I need players to play with, girls especially. So I went and I took the opportunity. And after that, I got the call from India team, like Hyderabad. I shifted to Gopichan Academy.
Okay.
So there was Korean coach was there. So I think step by step, I got the opportunity.
Is there something that you picked from these two cities, Vijaya Badminton, which you're probably spreading in Goa? I mean,
I think now Khelo India Center has come in Goa.
okay.
And even Goa Badminton Association and Sports Authority of Goa coaches are also there to help the players. But now I feel that even camps are conducted for the exposure of even seniors and juniors. I think more camps should be conducted in future.
Daryl, your thoughts in terms of the role that a government could play, a state government could play, and the corporates could play?
Yeah, I didn't hear you.
Like what role the state government and the corporates could play in terms of promoting the sport you pursue?
Um, I think recruiting children that are more inclined to being able to be in the water without fear, I think is something that we could start with, because it's not like it's a different environment, and there are, at least from my experience from teaching some of the younger students, is that there are a few kids that are inclined to being in the water, they enjoy it, and there are some who don't. And I think you can find that even kids as young as 5 and 6, you can see whether they would, I mean, you can see through their interests of whether they would be able to enjoy the sport in the long run or not. And having started at the age of 7 myself, I don't think I have any regrets of being able to sustain it for so long. So,
Do you think like when stars like Jonty Rhodes do surfing, I mean, does it get a lot more publicity, a lot more attention, a lot more, corporate interest, saying that maybe this could be, a sport that could be used for branding and stuff? Does it help?
yeah, for sure. I mean, at least as far as international athletes in the sport are taken into consideration, then they have a lot more sponsorship opportunities that we don't get for some reason here in India. And it's not that the level of those athletes are much higher than the level that the athletes that are here right now. It's just that something we are trying to wrap our heads around and trying to crunch the numbers and trying to look for different opportunities in order to get sponsorships ourselves, and in return advertise the companies that are sponsoring us.
Is there an attrition rate when it comes to athletes, a young athlete? I mean, do all young athletes kick on and become great, or is there a temptation to probably pick an alternate career, become a professional, and move away to the corporate sector? I mean, have you seen those kind of examples in Goa? I mean, it happens every state where not everyone pursues the sport they follow. I mean, when you had cases in Karnataka, but very talented tennis players like Aisari Rai or a Sujit Sachidanand, I mean, extremely talented, junior number 1 in that particular state, just went to the States to study, and then they just gave up on sport. I mean, does stuff like that happen in Goa, considering it's a small state, relying a lot on tourism? There's also a temptation to migrate to probably a Bombay or a Bangalore. Are there cases where, have you seen it personally, the three of you, where athletes probably give up and then move?
I was a part of a windsurfing camp in 2011 that was organized by my own father, and the camp saw around 20 or 25 students take part in it, and all of them sustained. I mean, they were into the sport for around 3 years. Some of them even showed promise, and they took it on them to take part at the national level, and a lot of them were very talented as well. But somehow, because of the lack of support, they decided to drop the sport, and it is unfortunate. But there are quite a few cases of what you've just mentioned, unfortunately.
As far as Goa is concerned, I feel I went outside when I was under 15. I got the exposure, and as you say, financial this thing. I got it some amount from corporate, but in badminton you need to invest a lot. And remaining amount I think we'll receive soon, but we didn't wait for that. We were only playing.
Okay.
So I feel that I got the opportunity. But there are many players who are because I was top 4 in India, I got these opportunities. But there are many players from Goa also who want to play. So I think government should look into, government and everybody, the association, should search out a talent like top 4, and then they can, in future, I'm saying long-term goals, they can support them for, I think, 2-3 years or 4 years, long-term, so that, we can get the results from the players also, by trusting them.
Fernandis, your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with this particular thought, because I noticed even when I was young, I remember through the school I went for the district level and then joined Indian Airlines under a scholarship. And they took care of my travel, my allowances, my studies and everything. And they just waited for me to graduate into the senior team, and I was given a job. Now that's exactly what you're looking at. if you're under a scholarship and you fare well, if you're landing yourself with a job, I think parents would be happy that they've got their child something to look forward to. Many a times it does happen that we heard in the earlier stage where they're under scholarship and then they drop out. Now that's very unfortunate because people are pinning their hopes on some of these children, and then for some reason they find that they're not going to do well and they drop out. So that's the flip side of people supporting sportsmen. I do agree that time should be given. It took me 4 years before I graduated to the senior team, and the airlines took me under the wings. So yes, you have to be patient with some of the players because they're learning, they're improving, and they have to be monitored. That's the most important thing. If they're not monitored, they would just fall by the wayside. They need good coaches. I was very fortunate that we had the best coaches in Indian Airlines at that time. I'm talking about the 70s when we had the best players too. So I was rubbing shoulders with Ashok, Govinda, Inamur, named all the big players. So that helps a lot. And as rightly mentioned, when she played with the top players, she starts feeling that I can also do as well as them. So that's a motivational factor for most youngsters. I would suggest that over here in Goa too, the past players should come in various sports and support the sport so that people can look up to them and improve.
If there is a vision statement for the future of multiple sport in Goa, what would that be? I mean, how would you see it?
The very fact that the infrastructure is in place now, it sounds good, and everybody seems to be very happy about it. I mean, the government should ensure that the top 4 players of every event like badminton or table tennis, the infrastructure has all these facilities for them, the swimming pool, all that should be given a free entry. They should have no problems entering these places whenever they want. They should ensure that full support is given to them. And I'm sure out of every discipline that is there, one of them will definitely make it big.
Your dream for Goa in multiple sport, I mean?
I just wish that Goa, from every sport, they will top the Indian ranking also, and internationally also. I want to see that from Goa, budding players will take up the sport as a career. Because now there are a lot of job opportunities also. So I feel, even I was recruited in Indian Railways when I was 18 years old. So I feel even scholarship are also there for youngsters from 13 to 18 in different fields. So I hope that even with studies also they can do in, whichever field they want.
I am sorry, I have to stop you. That's the first thing that I asked. In Goa, do people get jobs? So I didn't get a definite answer to that. Could you answer that? In Goa, if jobs are available in the state, I'm talking about in the state, or is it that they have to shift to IOC or BPCL, ONGC, the railways, or something of that sort? Is that, if I may ask?
When I became India number 1, when I was 18, I got the offer from Indian Railways. They called me, and at the same time, I had got from Indian Oil also interview call. But I chose to go for Indian Railways. So now I'm like, they have the rule of 330 days leave. Like each this institutions like Indian Oil, Bharat Petroleum, they have the rule that we don't have to go to office. We just need to focus on our playing career. And we need to perform, and that's this thing.
Yeah, that's good, but that's what I'm saying. I just said, like in Bombay, we had Tatas, we had Mahindras, the banks. They used to give jobs. So parents were pretty confident that if their child does well, they would get a job. So I was asking if that happens in Goa, if some of these companies pick them up and give them a job. I think it. No, so that's definitely not. So if that does happen, I think there would be sportsmen who would, look up to sports in a different manner. Their fears will be taken care of. It's so very important because I'm talking through my experience. The moment I left school and I was under scholarship and the airlines told me that if you do well, Mervyn, you're surely going to get a job. I think the Indian Oil and the railways do the same thing. So that sort of thing, if that culture comes in Goa, I'm sure it will make a difference.
Daryl, how do you look at it?
I mean, it's without a doubt that we have the talent here through various sports that we can see all of these sportsmen coming up. It's just that I think if we get the right support and we head these athletes in the right direction, including myself, I still have a fair bit of my career ahead of me. So I think that's the answer, honestly. Just a combination of support from the corporation, from the associations, and from potential sponsors.
So you're not looking for a job, are you?
I'm open to anyone.
That's exactly what I was trying to say. See, because it's so important. I tell you, when parents send their children to play any sport, I've been with hockey for some time, and the first thing that they ask me, आगे करके क्या करेंगे आप? Job मिलेगा साहब उनको? अरे साहब job तो नहीं मिलेगा खेलने. We played because we loved sport. You played, but now things have changed. So we are looking at our future. We are looking at our children's future. Many people do not reach the standards of maybe PV Sindhu or somebody like that. But at least a job, sort of gives a good feeling to the young sportsmen and the parents to make them pursue sport.
It's been a lovely discussion. I just hope that all the corporates sitting here open their purse strings a lot more and be a little bit more generous with their payouts and job offers. Thank you so much. Before that, let's take some questions from the audience. Anyone? Yes, sir. Mic to him, please.
Hello. This question is to Mervyn. Mervyn, incidentally, we share the same school, St. Stanislaus. And our school had a legacy of great players. He comes from the same school. So, coming to your statement regarding the popularity of sport, where you say cricket and football were looked upon as the most popular sports. But if I go back into the 60s and open up any paper, newspaper, first used to be hockey, then used to be football, and then last is to come cricket. Slowly as hockey of course, we should win medals, as you said, 75, 80, we won trophies, World Cups. World Cup and the Olympic gold. And before that, we used to win all the Olympic golds till then. So obviously, hockey was the most popular sport and our national sport for that matter. Then what made it come down? Cricket was the third sport which was popular. Football was the second. We used to play good football, I think in the 60s we were in the World Cup. So what made hockey go down and cricket come up?
As I explained to you, 1976 was the year that we started sliding down because of the infrastructure. Had we had an AstroTurf, we would have qualified for the semi-finals and we would have got a medal for sure. So imagine we didn't look ahead for an AstroTurf and we knew that the 1976 games were going to be played on AstroTurf. It took us nearly 25, 30 years now to sort of come back because had we had those AstroTurfs then, we would have been a force to reckon with. It makes a big difference when you play an AstroTurf and natural surface. Now we have a lot of AstroTurfs, so that's why you see the difference now. We are among the first 6 or the first 4 in the world. Have I answered your question?
Then how did cricket now and football?
I think there was a lapse on our part. We didn't encash on the 1975 World Cup and then the Asian Games. If you remember, we won the Asian Games 98. See, when you win certain events at the world level, it is important that the federation takes advantage of that. Prakash Padukoon, when he won the All England, suddenly you found a surge of people playing the game. Then Gopi Chand came in badminton. Tennis, Sania was there, she was doing well, so tennis came in. So I think the federations need to realize that when they're faring very well in a particular event, they should use those particular sportsmen or those teams to sort of generate more interest in that particular sport. For example, now PT Usha, athletics. We never ever thought of winning a medal at the Olympics till PT Usha nearly missed it, and then suddenly found so many others taking up to athletics. So it's the reason that I feel that we lost on when we won certain events. We didn't support, or the federation did not support the sporting icons at that time, and generated more interest for the game.
Thank you.
Yeah. We pass the mic to him, please.
Yeah, good afternoon. My name is Rahul Chandavarkar. I have a question for Mervyn Fernandes. Mervyn, I have watched your hockey from close quarters, so big fan.
Thank you, because half the people here wouldn't know that I played in 1980. Some of them even asked me, there was a question in the morning that when was the last Olympic gold medal won in hockey? And there was only one gentleman or one person who answered the question. I happened to be part of that, even when I said, so sad, I said. It's really sad that people did not know that we won the last Olympic hockey medal in 1980.
So, Mervyn, my question was, you played with so many of the India's hockey greats. You mentioned the 75 World Cup team, which are Ajit Pal Singh and, Govinda Monappa and, Aslam Sher Khan. You are the next generation. So, can you recall your most memorable moment, with some of these greats? Particularly the late Mohammad Shahid.
Mohammad Shahid, I'll come to Mohammad Shahid later, but when I was a youngster, I was watching Ashok Kumar play in Mumbai, and I have wonderful memories because my father used to take me from Ambernath, which is about 2 hours from the place to the stadium, and he was my idol. So when I got to play with him in the Indian Airlines team, those are the memorable moments. I couldn't believe when I first met him, and I was going to play with him in the same team in 1977-78. It was wonderful. And then Mohammad Shahid and me were youngsters. As time passed by, we played together as Ashok Govinda did the right and left hand. I used to play right hand and Shahid left hand. There was Zafar Iqbal. So those are memories. Very few people know about this combination that you're talking about. So that was way back in the 80s. So I don't know. Can I have hands up? Anybody having followed hockey in the 80s? Oh, not bad. I'm happy now. I feel better now because I thought that people won't remember the 80s. We were part of the 80s, Zafar, Shahid, and myself. So thank you very much for raising your hands. It makes me feel good.
Thank you so much. We've completely run out of time now. Absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
So much. And now, may I request our moderator to kindly felicitate our panelists. Well, sir is just sharing a thought that, one of his first picture that came in was in the same magazine and the book, So that is the experience that he's sharing right here with us. And today he holds the same in his hand.